Welcome back to Check Out the Stat by your girl, Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby. So I usually start the top of the show with my Superwoman of the Week, but I want to talk about something happening in the community. While the city of Vegas just won a WNBA championship, we're prepping for NBA in-season tournament and getting ready for a Super Bowl. A lot of residents here are hurting after a shooting in the community at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. A gunman opened fire, and I personally really want to raise awareness to the situation, especially now that I reside in Las Vegas. And I feel like the news is very limited. We're always hearing different things about what happened. So then rather than me telling you guys what happened, I am joined with two students here to tell their side. So today I am joined with Serenity and Kate. How are you guys?
We're good.
That's good. Okay, so I appreciate you both for coming on the show to chat with me about what happened. But before we even get into everything, what year are you guys? What are you guys studying? And like, what are your aspirations in life?
Okay, I'm a first year. I've actually changed my major for the second time now.
Mhm.
I was originally a nursing major, but I transitioned to a human services major, and it's going pretty smooth. Well, was, but
Yeah.
you know, it's had its bumps in the roads, but it's not too bad.
That's good. And are you from Vegas or?
No, I'm not. I'm from California.
Oh, okay. So you moved from Cali, came to Vegas for school, and it's your first year.
Yes. Well, I've been to Vegas before. Vegas isn't
Right.
That unfamiliar to me.
Right.
But yeah, first year in college.
Got it. And then Kate, what about you?
Yes. So I'm a first year as well. I'm from Dallas, Texas. And my major is I'm a political science major, and I have aspirations of becoming a lawyer.
Dope. Okay. And then did you guys meet in?
We met in college.
You guys met in college. Dope. Okay. So obviously, unfortunately, there is an incident that happened on December 6th. I kind of want you guys to open up and talk about what you know so far, what has happened, like really kind of bring us to that point.
Yes. Well, first we'd like to, of course, give our condolences to like the families who are grieving and the people who passed, and appreciation to our president for keeping us updated these past couple of hours. It's been a lot for the students, so I'm glad he's been communicating with us. But I think for me, I would say like it's just been hectic. Like it's been like I've never experienced anything like this where I'm from. I've never experienced anything like this, so all of it was just like, whoa, like shock. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't really know like how to respond. I didn't really know what to do other than just listen to the people who are around me. But right.
And you know, you see these type of things that happen in like movies and, you know, TV shows and then like real life across the US, and it's like so mind-blowing to like experience it firsthand on yourself. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just not processing fully like, dang, this is really happening right now. And I just think these types of situations, like how many more is it going to take to, you know, have everybody hear us and have everybody, you know, do something about the situation.
Mhm. Okay. So what I've heard about the situation, you guys can confirm if it's correct or not. I was hearing that the shooter came on campus and he was applying for a job or maybe didn't get it. And so he came back and decided that this was what he wanted to do. Like, do you guys have any insight on that, or what have you heard?
You want to go first?
Well, basically, it's hard to really like get all the pieces together, but we've heard the same, just about the same. Like he is not a professor at our school. Supposedly
He's
I
from
think-
Duke?
Yeah, or North Carolina or Georgia, something like that. I think he was applying to our school and they denied him. And this is the way that I think he retaliated. And what's it called? The two suspects that they said that were actually killed. Ren, I think he said they were the one who interviewed him, actually.
Yeah. Like, I guess they were the people that interviewed him personally. So it was more so, I guess, targeted, more of a targeted situation.
But it, like we were going over this and we were like, we're questioning like, okay, if this is a targeted like situation, these faculty members were in class, like they were teaching when this happened. So it draws question to, okay, if the shooter is actively on campus looking for his targets, so to say, like what makes like it's hard to believe that only 3 people were actually killed in that process. Like if you have a motive and you're just upset, you're going to retaliate in any way, like whoever you see. So it's like, where is this 30 casualties coming from? Where are 3 killers or 3 shooters coming from?
Yeah, that's another thing. They started off the narrative with there were being 3 shooters and multiple casualties. But as the day dies down, as more press, as more is getting more attention, the numbers are starting to change.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of confusing on how it started off at such a high number, but then decreases to a low. It's going slower down to a lower number.
Right.
So it's like we're getting false information, and then it makes the people who are actually in the situation, like we're making decisions in that situation, like, okay, this is what we're hearing right now. So many people are getting killed, like something is happening around us, when we could have made decisions then and there that could have been avoided if we knew the truth. Like they're putting false news out, and if they aren't putting false news out, what are they covering? Like what are they hiding? Like now, like what do we actually believe?
Right.
So
okay. So I've seen some other posts circulating, and I'm just talking about the things that I've seen, that you guys were sent a text message from the universities that said run, hide, fight.
Yes.
Did you guys receive that?
Yes.
What was your reaction? Like what?
So from the initial start, it was, it caught me so off guard because when everything had happened, I originally was in my dorm.
Yeah.
And I had heard the alarm go out outside, but it sounded similar to the fire alarm. So I'm like, oh, it's just a fire alarm, whatever. But then it caught me off guard because I seen so many students running. And it just caught me so off guard. And then that's when everybody received the message saying that there was an active shooter in the Beam Hall, which is mainly like the business school hall.
Mm-hmm.
And my initial reaction was like, oh my God. Like,
yeah.
And it specifically said, run, hide, fight. This is not a test.
Right.
So it was just like, wow.
Yeah. And then what was your
about
reaction?
the same.
Yeah.
I was actually in our dining commons when we received it. And I would say like the dining commons is like around the corner from the student union where they said it was initially happening. And when I got that text, I was like, who, what? Like I see students running like full speed, and we tried to leave. And they would not let us leave.
Wow.
Like we had to stay in place. Like, and that was the only thing we were getting from like our UNLV, UPD, like text messaging, stay in place, run, fight, hide, or whatever it's called.
Right.
Like that was the only thing we were getting, was to stay in shelter. No updates. Like we have them detained, nothing. Like we got more insight into what was happening from
social media outlets,
from different sources than our actual like UPD text messaging that we're supposed to rely on.
Right.
So
yeah, that's super scary. And I can't even imagine being in that situation where it's like, where do you go? What do? You know, you have nothing to kind of say like, hey, this is the next steps that I need to take to protect myself and others. Mm-hmm. So you guys are in finals week.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
How is that working? Like, are you guys still having to submit assignments? Like what is...
So with the email that the president sent out last night, basically stated that they were going to shut down all UNLV, like in she-based buildings up until Sunday, basically continuing class on Monday, which I find so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like we're just supposed to, you know, just go on with the next day and start restudying for finals again.
Right.
To still take finals in class next week.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean, one of my professors a couple of them have reached out just to make sure we were okay. But I know for me, like I had like an essay due tomorrow. I had like an exam that Monday or on Monday. And my teacher has been a little bit more like, you know, don't worry about it. You know, we'll see what this rest of this week looks like per what the president said. But I think like, I know when we were actually I don't know if this is the correct word for it. Hostage, I guess.
Yeah. Not literally, but that's just.
But yeah, that's
the
the feeling that I felt like.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let us leave. Like, and there were no doors for us to get out either. Like, we were in the back of the kitchen of our cafeteria. Like, it's hot in there. Like, I was traumatized. I didn't know what to do. So, what's it called? I know there was another girl. She was freaking out because her teacher was grading assignments during the actual like thing. So we're like, she's freaking out. Like, oh my gosh, like it's just, there's already pressure on us. as it comes. And so it just kind of, I don't know, it felt like some of the teachers just didn't care what was going on in that moment or weren't paying attention to what was happening in that moment, and just was like, they just didn't care about our well-being. Right. So I'm not sure.
So just so the viewers know, I actually found Serenity because I saw her comment under the shade room. Because people are posting about it, and I think there's a lot of misinformation. Is there anything that you guys feel like isn't being communicated that should be?
I think the main thing with the communication is just the whole narrative. The narrative just seems so inaccurate from where they started off with, 30 plus casualties with multiple shooters down to 3 and then going back up and then going back down. So it's like the inconsistency in the narrative that's given out to the world isn't what us students experienced first-handedly.
Right.
And I think one of the main things which really doesn't make sense is the amount of damage that was done to our school, the fact that they're having to rebuild buildings, it just doesn't make sense on how if there was only 3 victims, but so much damage.
Right.
So you would think, even aside gunshot wounds, you would assume that there would be multiple other injuries.
Mm-hmm.
But why isn't those amount of injuries being displayed?
Right.
Yeah, I agree with her on that. Because they were telling us that there were 3 different locations that things were happening at. But how is a 67-year-old man moving in 3 different places at the time?
Exactly, because they started off with them at the Beam Hall at 11:40 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said they proceeded to say shots were fired next in the student union at 12:19. So it's like, you mean to tell me in that almost hour of a time frame, he only aimed for 3 victims?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like with his type of motive, he had so much potential to basically do more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very scary incident. So my last question that I kind of want to ask you guys, because I feel like people forget this is real life. Like, this is happening far more than it shouldn't happen at all, but it's happening a lot. What is a change that you guys would like to see?
I know students are petitioning for our campus to be a little bit more closed, like a closed campus, or if not, like have a better
security system.
Because our campus is 5 minutes from the Strip.
Yeah.
Like it is geographically an urban college.
Yeah.
So the fact that anybody can really just walk on our campus, that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
There needs to be
anybody has access to anything on campus, and
walk in at the right time, and you in a building, you in the dorms,
they have access. Anybody has access to student dorms, classrooms. It's kind of a scary thing when you really think about it. Dang, anybody can really get up in here.
Yeah, the realization is crazy. Well, I want to thank you both for taking the time to speak with me today. You guys are definitely all in our prayers, and I really hope we see some change soon. And this is why I really wanted to give you guys the opportunity to tell you guys' piece on my show, because it should be talked about. We shouldn't be getting information from random people. We should be getting it from the students who want to advocate and see a change. So I appreciate you both for being here, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And if you guys need anything, you can reach out to me like I reached out to you. It's reciprocal, so just let me know if you guys need anything.
Thank you so much.
Of
we
course.
Appreciate it.
And then when we return, we will get into Ain't No Way.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about it. She wanna be free. Why am I here this woman wanna be free? Hell, I don't wanna see her walk away. I wish somebody told me the rules. Disagreements let her win, and it's cool. Even when I'm right, this ain't about you.
So now y'all know it's time for Ain't No Way, where we talk about the crazy things that have happened this week. So this isn't that crazy, but I want to talk about it. Ain't no way Chet and Wemby are the only rookies y'all are talking about. So Cam and Mase got on me on It Is What It Is because, yes, I want to talk about the new hotness because there are other players out there that I think deserve some shine. So I did a little bit more of my due diligence so I can highlight these players. First one I'm going to start with, y'all know I got to start with Jaime Jaquez Jr. So first up, y'all were trying to stick up for me saying like, Kim and Mase are going against y'all. Like, y'all, we're on a sports show. We're supposed to debate. I love it. And that makes me better as a journalist. But yes, Jaime is going to be my first pick. Not even just because I'm a Heat fan. Guys, I'm going to keep it unbiased, read you his stats, and then you guys can decide what you think about him. So Jaime is 22 years old, and he was selected by the Miami Heat as the 18th pick. He went to UCLA for college. So aside from me being a Heat fan, like I said, he's made a big impact on the Miami Heat in such a short amount of time. Now, when I highlight Jaime, this is no diss at Chet or Wemby. But when you look at Victor Wembanyama, he was expected to make an immediate impact on his team as soon as he got drafted. And Wemby is playing with what I would say not really star players. And Chet is on a team with Shea, Josh Giddey, and he's not looked at as the go-to player on OKC. I think everybody's tuned into Shea. Yes, he is a part of the group, but Jaime, on the other hand, is playing with players like Bam, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. And even when two of those players were out due to an injury, he was still making waves and putting his foot down on the court. And he can play well with them on the court and with them not on the court. I think this is great for his confidence. I think Miami Heat is really great at developing stars at a young age. I think by seeing that he can see how he needs to act on the court with Bam and Jimmy alongside him and without is giving him the confidence to make his threes, show his footwork, show that he can make decisions without being told what to do down his ear. And then, like I always say, you got to look at his stats. I know we said the last 6 games, but I think this is important to show that he's improving throughout his season. He's averaging 18.7 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists in the last 6 games. My next rookie that I want to highlight is Ausar Thompson. I spoke about him a little bit in a Talk to Stat segment, but I want to talk about him a little bit more in depth. He was selected as the 5th pick by the Detroit Pistons, and he's also made an immediate impact. So think of it like this, right? Ausar is 6'6". Yes, Wemby's 7'4", and Chet is 7'2", but he is leading all rookies in rebounds at his height. And like I said, he's not even looked at as the star player. And the thing about Ausar that's very interesting is that he's utilizing his athleticism on defense. I think the league is really glorifying offense, which obviously it's fun to see the fancy threes and people crossing people up. Shout out Steph Curry because he gonna do it to him. But seeing that Ausar is making his mark defensively is something that we should be looking into. He's been hustling, and yes, he's not as strong offensively, but that can be improved upon. And I think over time, he's going to be a dangerous player to look out for. And then the third rookie that we must highlight, I'm going to go with Derek Lively. He was selected as the 12th pick by the Mavs. He is 7'1" and is starting as the Mavs center, and he played basketball at Duke. And we know Duke makes stars. So the thing that I like about Derek Lively is as a rookie, he hasn't shied away from competition. There's a highlight that I wish I could play of him dunking against Chet. And, you know, I think a lot of rookies starting off, they're like, okay, let me just ease off a little bit against Chet and Wemby because of their height. He has not backed down, and he's proven that this is his court. And that's also what I like to see from rookies, putting their game in. So in that game, he dropped 20 points and 16 rebounds. And it's super cool to see that a star player like Luka can trust him. Luka knows that if he throws the ball up to him, he doesn't have to take the drive. Derek is going to get the ball in. And that's also that chemistry that I like to see with the rookie and more star players. And for him being a center playing with Luka, Kyrie, Josh Green, and Grant Williams, it's pretty impressive to see that he's figured out his role in the Mavs system. In addition, looking at the stats, he became the first player in NBA history to put up a stat of at least 20 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks on 100% shooting as a teenager. And yes, a teenager. Derek Lively is only 19 years old. So Jaime, Ausar, and Derek are 3 rookies that I definitely think that you guys should look more into. And yes, there's going to be more rookies who are going to try to make their mark, but those are the 3 that I'm looking at now. We're going to go to break and then we'll get into the Superwoman of the Week. I know the order is a little bit different, but obviously this was a special episode. So when we return, we will get into the Superwoman.
Pink horsepower.
She called this thing about toxic.
What's happening, man? Baby, what's happening?
Why you walking like that?
That's how I walk.
And then like you come on breathing on me like that.
I fucking breathe to live.
And like you used to be dark skinned and now you act like hella light skinned.
Are you fucking blind? I'm dark skinned. What the fuck?
And then like look at your beard.
What the fuck is
Your
wrong with
beard
my
looks
beard?
stupid.
What the fuck are you talking about?
No, I don't even like it. The way you breathe in all of that.
Has this ever happened to you? Your girl seems to be mad, angry, upset. She's frustrated. It's only one way to handle that. Pink horsepower.
No.
But your breath is really refreshing.
No.
I'm just trying to give you a massage. Plus, have I told you how good your beard looks lately? It looks so good.
No.
PHP. It works every time.
Wait, where you going?
Welcome back. So a lot of y'all have asked me who my favorite reporter is. So I'm going to introduce my birthday twin and my Superwoman of the Week, Taylor Rooks. Taylor Rooks is on Thursday Night Football, Bleacher Report, and she worked for Turner Sports. Before joining Turner, she was a host, reporter, and correspondent at Sportsnet New York. She did work for the Big Ten Network, and in 2022, she was nominated for a Sports Emmy Award for Outstanding Personality and Emerging On-Air Talent. So I love Taylor Rooks' work because I think she's very authentic for a woman in sports. She does a lot of sit-down athlete interviews, and she's not so much worried about just grabbing the stats and telling you the storyline. She's very interested in making sure you understand the athlete, which I think is very important in journalism nowadays. I think people sometimes forget that these athletes aren't just players, they're people and they're human and they have a backstory just like anybody else. If you look at the type of interview formats that I do, I always try to humanize people more because I think on the news, like I said, people are so stuck on getting a story. And that's very important to me when addressing athletes, talking about different subjects and stories. Taylor Rooks does a phenomenal job. She always keeps it professional and she has good relationships with a lot of people. So make sure you guys tune into her. She's on Thursday Night Football. I'm sure most of you guys know who she is. And if she isn't, she is a remarkable woman to watch and see the way that she does her interviews. Let me know if you guys have tapped into Taylor Rooks or if you plan on it, because if you haven't, it's time. Some food for thought, but y'all can hashtag check out the stat so we can continue the discussion next week. And then you guys can send questions and maybe your question will be featured. Thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the stats. I'll see y'all next week.